What's up, everyone? How are we doing? My name is Erp. What's up? Erp? It's a new name. We're going to try it out.
That's gonna be a playback in a future show. My name is
that is T-Dubs right there, the one talking and making fun of my Erp. What? You're going to turn them up just a little bit. Thank you.
I'm just going to go ahead and introduce myself as I'm T-Dub, Tyler Williams, here for a 60-minute suspension, ready to do the damn thing. My boy Amp and I, we're going to kill it tonight. Fun show.
Yeah.
As always.
We have a fun show. Sorry for the title. I didn't change it. Mackenzie's feeling under the weather, so I'm doing 7 duties today. But today is episode 14, and today's episode title is called The Commencement of the Holdouts. So, very cool. I'm pretty excited about it. Oh, sorry. Let the Holdouts Commence. That's what I called it. Let the Holdouts Commence. That's what I called it. So, you can actually see it above our heads, but in other forms it's not titled that. Anyways, long story short, moving on. So, if you don't know T-Dubs very well, or if, you kind of want to get to know him better, he is a writer for this website called The Turf. And he just posted an article pretty recently talking about the NFL holdouts. Now, we're going to go to that article eventually, and we're going to go check that out and talk about some of his holdouts that he's going to talk about. But there's one big name that came out today, and his owner is actually talking out, I wouldn't say against him, but it's definitely not for him. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Ezekiel Elliott, the running back for the Dallas Cowboys, he's going to hold out during training camp. We're going to see how long this goes. He wants a new contract. He has 2 years left on his rookie contract. It's going to be interesting how this plays out. Jerry Jones on live TV in an interview says this, and I quote, let me make sure I have the right quote. And I quote, he tells this to CBS 11 from the training camp facility over in Oxnard, California. He says this: the point there is you don't have to have a rushing champion to win a Super Bowl. The point there is you don't have to have a rushing champion to win a Super Bowl. Tyler, is this a burn or is this we don't need them?
I mean, I wouldn't call it a burn. I would call it a fact. Since when's the last time a rushing champion has actually been on the Super Bowl team?
Well, actually, I wish
I had looked this up before the show.
I have that stat.
You have that stat? It was great, because I was literally just about to say I wish I looked that up before the show.
You know what it is?
But, I mean...
You want to take a guess at it?
Can I ponder on it for a couple minutes and we keep talking?
So you want to ponder on it while we're about to give the answer?
I want to take on it.
Okay, all right. I'll hold off on who it was. Those at home, if you're watching, you can Google it if you want to, or give me an answer if you want to. But I know exactly who it is. Hopefully T-Dubs figures it out. But, so, while we're waiting on T-Dubs, okay, so the idea being, Jerry Jones is saying to Zeke...
Yeah, I don't think it was a burn to answer your question, though. I would call it a fact that you don't need a rushing champion to win the Super Bowl, and I think they can running back by committee it to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Okay.
And they got a fantastic offensive line at least as far as run blocking goes. Yeah. So there's a lot of plus factors to that position. Or to that stance. And as an organization, don't you want to be kind of firm?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways.
So you want to know? Did you think about it?
No, I was too busy talking.
All right, I'm so excited to tell you this. All right, so anyways, all right, you don't think it's a burn? It's more of just standing up for logic, basically, and saying that you don't need a running back to win the Super Bowl, which is it's true. But I do want to break down some stats for you and give you a context of how important Ezekiel Elliott is to the Cowboys. I actually had to do a lot of homework on this one because this was intense. So the Cowboys with Elliott, they've had him for 3 seasons now. Okay, he was drafted back in 2016. He's been a force of just nature. Each season he just keeps getting better and better. It's not going the opposite for him. He's actually consistently getting better and better and making a name and a brand for himself. He's the rushing champion, obviously. He rushed the most yards of anyone last season, which is pretty impressive. But here are some stats for you.
I think I got it.
Yeah? If you get this,
should I go now?
If you get this, I will bow to you.
Sean Alexander?
No.
Damn.
That was a good guess, though.
Right?
That was a really good guess.
Played for the Seahawks. I couldn't remember if he was a rushing champ.
Yeah.
Before. You can go ahead and give it whenever you want.
Want me to give it to you? Okay. So the last rushing champion to win a Super Bowl. Everybody, are you ready for this? Emmitt Smith.
Oh, damn.
1993, I believe, was the year. Yeah.
Damn, that was a long time ago.
Jerry Jones' own Emmitt Smith helped him to a Super Bowl win. Impressive, huh? That's the last time. 1993. This is so long ago. Oh my gosh.
That is so long ago. And back then, running the ball was very, very important in the league. You know, not that, and they were still a good air attack too, because they had Aikman and Irvin and one other decent receiver who wasn't like Hall of Fame worthy, but he was decent for number 2. So yeah, it's back then. I think it was something. It was definitely a plus to have back then, right? Wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was almost a necessity back then.
It's a plus to have any time, you know.
Yeah, it was absolutely a necessity to have like a really good running back then. Okay, so these are the stats that the Cowboys are working with when it comes to Zeke. Okay, so Zeke's, like I said, he's been playing with him for 3 seasons. Really, the only time Zeke has really missed games was either suspension. The season was basically over, and he didn't have to play, and maybe 2 or 3 games where he was legitimately kind of hurt. But for the most part, he's been really healthy for the team. All right, so Cowboys with Elliott, their record is 28-12. 28-12 with Elliott starting on the field. Average yards per game. This is the total yards per game that the Cowboys get. 361 yards, 0.5. Average yards per rush. 4.7 yards per rush. And then this is huge. They outscored opponents by 188 points. Pretty impressive. When he's playing, yeah. So, like I said, he's only been hurt a couple of times. He's had a 3-game suspension, and then there was a game where he actually didn't even play because the season was over. So, you add that up, he missed 8 games in 3 seasons, which is pretty impressive for a running back. It's pretty impressive. So, he missed 8 games. Their record, 4-4. They're really right at 500 without him. Unlike when I said before, with him, they're 28-12. Their average yards per game total is 297 yards. So it's almost 100 yards less than with him. Average yards per rush without him, 3.9. And I know that number doesn't sound that different from 4.7, but in the NFL, it kind of does make a huge difference.
Yeah.
And then this is the huge number. This is big. So remember when I said that they outscored opponents by 188 points?
Yeah.
Get this. They are outscored by opponents 36 points.
While he's playing, they are outscored by opponents 36 points.
When he's not playing.
While he's not playing.
Yeah.
They're outscored by 36 points.
So they outscore opponents. So they score more points, or they score more points than opponents.
188 points more
with him, and then when he's not there, they get outscored by 36 points. In 2017, okay, that's when his 3-game suspension was. The 3 games that he was suspended, yeah, they only ran, well, this is actually a pretty decent number, but they ran 121 yards per game on the ground, but went 3 games straight without a touchdown. So they still had a high number of rushing yards, but they didn't have any touchdowns those 3 games that he didn't play.
Yeah, and that's obviously very important. I'll take 3 touchdowns, and 50 yards, or 3 touchdowns and 30 yards apiece a game or whatever. I don't care.
So
give me the time.
Yeah, exactly. So this last stat I thought was really important because it kind of just shows how important he is to the team. Like, Tyler, when I tell you that he is kind of the heart and backbone of this team, this stat right here, like, backs up that statement. Okay, so he was drafted in 2016. Okay, per snap percentage. So snap percentage in a game. So for how many snaps that he actually is in the game, they made a percentage of that. And so in 2016, he was in 71.3% of the game when they had the ball. Because obviously he's a running back, he only plays offense. So that percentage is based on how often the offense is on the field and he's behind whoever the quarterback is at the time. So in 2016, his first season, he's 71.3% behind the quarterback. In 2017, keep in mind, he had a 3-game suspension in 2017. That percentage went up to 85.5%. Okay. Last season, Ezekiel Elliott, percentage per snap or whatever, or percentage of snap, was 89.2% on the field with his team. That's almost 90% on the field. That means that literally he was only not on the field maybe every other 4 downs. Maybe. I mean, even less than that, honestly.
I wonder how many touches he had last season.
Yeah.
Because 85% of the offensive plays is a lot. That's borderline like Le'Veon Bell type stuff,
Well, and then, like I said, this past season he had 89, which is crazy.
This past season you said he had 89?
This past season, yeah. 2019 he had 89.
I thought you said 85.
No, 2017 he had 5. 2017 he had 85. 2018 he had 89.
Okay.
So it's rising.
Okay.
It's basically rising. Is what's happening.
Okay.
So I mean.
Yeah. So he's pretty important to his offense, huh?
So I go back to Jerry Jones' statement. The point there is you don't have to have a Russian champion to win a Super Bowl. True, but when your star athlete on the team is on the field pretty much every single snap, excluding the quarterback, I don't know. What do you do?
Yeah, it's just hardball. He doesn't mean it. He knows what Zeke means to the organization, but it's just hardball. I think the Cowboys are kind of strapped for cash, a little tight. I don't think they're like killer. But how many years does he have an option on his contract? Because he's Ramsey's year. Ramsey has So this is his. He still has this year, and then
2 more.
I'm sure that they optioned him, if I remember correctly, and so he has 1 more year, and then he could get franchised really for a 3rd year, and he could even get franchised for a 4th year.
Yeah.
And I think he could get franchised for a 3rd year. However, he has to get quarterback money, top-rated quarterback money at that point. But he won't last that long.
I mean, the way he runs, I'll be surprised if he's still at this level in 2 years. He's a heavy runner, and so I can't blame him for wanting to hold out and get him. I mean, I can't blame him. I mean, I honestly support his decision. I understand. I get it, the way he runs and how hard he hits when he hits a linebacker or anyone trying to stop him, dude's not gonna last incredibly long in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah, he hasn't sustained many injuries though, right? I think he had a concussion. Like I don't know if that was in college or whatnot, but I know he had an injury coming into the NFL. But I can't remember how often he's been injured in the NFL. You said he missed 4 games to suspension.
I was mistaken. He missed 6 games during his suspension.
Yeah, I was wondering because there was one season he was out for a good.
Yeah, I think that was the same season because he missed those games, and then he also I believe he got hurt as well that season as well. So yeah, he was out a lot. And to give you more story or drama to the situation, the Cowboys did pick up Alfred Morris, who's essentially like a little slower than Ezekiel Elliott, but same pound for pound hitter. And for the past 3 seasons with the Washington Redskins, he's rushed 1,000 yards.
His first 3 seasons.
Oh, sorry, his first 3 seasons. Yeah, but with the Washington Redskins. Yeah, they suck.
I think he was rushing. Was he rushing champ his rookie season? Because he had like 1,600 yards his rookie season.
I don't remember.
That's great. I wonder if that was Mojo's rushing champion year.
So
it was about 7 years ago. So
yeah, and to be fair, the Cowboys don't have the best wide receiver core.
They got Amari Cooper. They let go of Hearns.
Yeah.
They got Jason Witten back. LOL.
Yeah, that walking dust of bones.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's Ezekiel Elliott news. But Tyler, you kind of wrote an article about all of these holdouts coming up to the season. I got it pulled up here. I'm just going to name off some names, and I just want you to kind of give me your thoughts on them. Okay. So Trent Williams.
I really am kind of worried about his situation. It's more than just money. He's worried about the medical staff and how they handled a situation going on with his head. He actually this offseason recently had a growth removed on his head, which I don't know how that happened. I don't know what caused that growth. He is claiming that the Redskins medical staff actually handled it kind of improperly or improperly as well. So it could be. I don't know. He may never want to play for them again. If it's really as bad as somebody mishandling a tumor type situation on your head. Sometimes playing for the NFL is a trust issue because you're playing with your life a lot of times. So, with that being said, I don't really know about Trent Williams, what he's going to do, if he's going to come back. But I hope he returns to football. I hope he can play to full form again because he is a nasty left tackle. So,
this one, when I saw it on your list, I didn't even know he was holding out. So maybe you can enlighten me on this one. Michael Thomas from the Saints?
Yeah, Michael Thomas from the Saints. He's holding out. He's definitely a holdout this season, right now at least. I don't know how long it's going to last. Maybe it's just one of those, hey, I'm not going to come to camp and risk my body and, if I'm going to still play on this second-round rookie deal kind of thing. So I don't necessarily – he does want a new contract. He's going to get a new contract. The Saints want to do it. I think they're just kind of battling over the numbers right now. I think both parties are interested. I don't think there's necessarily like I'm holding out because I need this contract. I think it's more so Michael Thomas is saying, hey, I don't want to participate in training camp and risk my body for $2 million this season or $1.3 million this season. That's not worth it to me. If I hurt my body bad, you're going to not pay me, period. So I think that's his stance. I think they know there's going to be a second round. I think they know there's going to be a deal done before the season starts. So he takes care of himself. He's training. I think everybody knows that. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal in New Orleans. Like you said, you barely even knew about it. So,
It's just a big need, though. So Michael Thomas is literally one of the best wide receivers right now. So definitely one you want to keep an eye on.
So.
Ngakoue.
Yeah, similar situation. It's a big deal to you and I think, because, we're Jags fans and we want to see our team do the best and be fully the best, especially after a season like last season where we were completely injured and decimated. So we want to see our team at full health. So we want Ngakoue in camp. For him himself, he wants to get paid. And the Jags offered him a 2-year deal. I think it was like $55 million, which would make him the 4th highest paid pass rusher behind Khalil Mack and Von Miller, I think. And so it would put him up there, and it's a good deal, and it's a very good deal, especially if it was 1 to 2 more years. But that, to me, if I'm Ngakoue, I'm saying, well, that's kind of setting me up either to be a bridge to Josh Allen, or for me to get injured and then lose out on lose security in a deal.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, NFL players don't have much security, but it is what it is. So there's been news buzz around Jags camp, Jags facilities that Ngakoue, he wants to be a leader for the team, so he wants to be there. There's been buzz that he'll probably return before a deal is struck. But it might just be a situation just kind of like Michael Thomas, where he doesn't want to get hurt before because he also is on 3rd round rookie contract. So I think because
sorry, you broke up there just a little bit, Tyler. Sorry, we're having bad internet connection.
Yeah, I was just saying, Michael Thomas, Ngakoue is gonna play for like $2 million if he plays on this deal this year, compared to like Michael Thomas's 2nd round, which was $1.3 million. So because of Ngakoue's premium position, that's why a 3rd round pick would get paid more than a 2nd round pick in the same draft.
Okay.
Yeah. So that'll probably, Ngakoue will probably be in camp like at the end of preseason, if a deal's not struck. Deal will probably get struck soon, because I think the Jags want him around for a long time. I think they kind of bullshitted with that offer, and I think they know the fans will be upset if they fumble on this, especially after the Blake Bortles contract.
Yeah.
So
there's one more on this list, and I honestly forgot how long he's been in the league, and he's still under his rookie contract. Mr. Melvin Gordon, the concussion expert.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about him?
He wants big money, and I don't know if the Chargers are going to give it to him. Much like the Chargers. What's that?
He's injury prone. He's always hurt.
Yeah, he is. He really is. So I understand he wants to cash in, and good for him for trying to cash in. He might cash in, but he might not get the numbers he's thinking. But he'll probably still cash in. The Chargers are pretty much on that Jerry Jones vibe. They said the same thing almost. Their coach was, I think even Philip Rivers said something like, "We love Melvin Gordon, but we feel our running back room is pretty deep." So if that's what your quarterback's saying, your coach is saying, "We love Melvin Gordon, but we love who's here the most," or some shit like that. So yeah, so he'll probably get some money. The Chargers do want him. They said that as well. They said we are better with him, but we also know how to move forward without him. And if your quarterback's saying that, even Tyrann Mathieu retweeted it and was like, "Damn," that was all he said. So, I mean, if your quarterback says that, it might be time to get a deal done, and just get into camp. I don't know. So,
let me get your opinion on this, because a lot of people give NFL players a lot of gripe for doing holdouts, but in the grand scheme of things, when we look at players, take Melvin Gordon and Zeke more so, they're running backs. Their lifespan in the NFL is maybe 8 solid years, if they're lucky, with no MCL, ACL situation, or too many concussion situation. You know, those type of players, man, their life expectancy in the NFL is very, very short. And, you know, a lot of people give them, you know, gripe and complain, you know, oh, they're asking for too much money or whatever. But, you know, in the past, I kind of was like that. But I'm starting to kind of open my eyes more to their situation and understand that, dude, the life expectancy of these players and how long those rookie contracts last, you have to. Like, you don't have a choice. You got to make your money when you can. I mean, you are your brand. You are your moneymaker. Your legs, your abilities are what put you in a nice house or, you know, take care of your kids for the rest of their lives type situation. And, I mean, these players have one shot at this, you know?
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I thought about that too. I think in the new CBA, which this honestly might not get brought up. It's just an idea of mine. I don't even think anybody's talking about it. But I think rookie contracts should be dependent on the position. So rookie contracts work in right now in like, okay, first round picks, you sign a 4-year contract with a 5th-year option. It's a mutual option between the team and it's not a mutual option between the player. The player if the team picks up the option, the player plays for that 5th year. So, and that's how it is. And but you don't have that option if you're after the first round. So you're just a 4-year contract, and that's all you are. So I think you should make the contracts. I think the NFL should make the rookie contracts based off of position. You make like the running back a 2 to 3 year contract. Let's say a 2-year contract with a 3rd-year option. That way, it gives them a chance to sign another 3 to 4 year contract, depending on how well they do, and then that'll really maximize the life expectancy of a running back. So,
yeah,
were you able to hear any of that?
I did. Sorry, we're having my mic issues, so just trying to fix that. But yeah, I agree with you, and I think that would be cool to do that in the CPA or CBA, where they, you know, change basically the position. You know, the position rookie contract extensions, I guess. You know, like quarterbacks should be given like the longer ones. You know, like we should be seeing quarterbacks with 5-year plans, while running backs get maybe a 3-year plan, and then, you know, defensive linemen, offensive linemen, maybe a 3-4-year plan. Because let's be honest, a lot of these linemen, offense or defense, you know within a year or two if they're really good or not. You know, you don't need 5 years on them. You know, same with wide receivers. I mean, wide receivers maybe have a 4-year plan. You know, it's just, you're absolutely right on the length of these contracts, and I hope they change it, especially for running backs. Of all the positions, running backs and linebackers, 3 years tops, man.
I think they should be allowed to figure out a way to maximize, you know, their
turn the game down.
Contract, but I really think you should do the contracts by position. You know, the rookie contracts by position, because even still, they made the rule like this so that teams could avoid the big bust. You know. But even still, 4 years can tend to be a long time for some of these players who still turn out to be a bust.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So make it by position. And I think, you know, maybe offensive line, you probably put that a little bit longer, like a 4-year with a 5th-year option. You know, tight ends will probably be like a 3-year stiff. I think you wouldn't do anything on that. Defensive ends would probably be like a 4-year with a 5th option. Same with defensive tackles. You know, so I think you can I think you can just change around how you form these contracts.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, it's interesting. We hopefully that situation will get changed and fixed, and you know, hopefully a lot of these younger players step into a new, I guess, situation with the NFL where they're not stuck in these contracts for so long, and they can actually maybe make some money faster than longer. And hopefully that works out for them. So let's move on to a different sport, and it's the champions, the women's champions, the world champions.
Let's go!
Cup. It's pretty awesome.
All right, USA! USA! USA!
This is a really kind of sad story, but it's not a sad story because, more than anything, I'm happy for the coach. Basically what it is, Jill Ellis is the head coach, or was the head coach for the U.S. women's national team, who, by the way, just won the World Cup. Freaking awesome. But what you may have not known, she was the coach for the last World Cup also. So she's actually in probably one of the smallest, and I mean smallest lists of coach accolades that will probably remain small for a very, 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 very long time. Tyler, I don't know if you knew this.
Yeah, I know it.
Jill Ellis is the first woman to achieve 2 back-to-back World Cup championships. Okay, she's the first woman to do this, and probably will be the first for a long time. The only other coach to successfully, consecutively win the World Cup in a row. So that's because the World Cup's every 4 years. So winning it back to back, within the 4 years is, get this, Vitor Pozzo back in 1934 and 1938. Wow.
Italy's coach.
Huh?
Italy's coach. Italy.
How cool is that, man? Like, she's literally on a list that only had one name before hers.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? That's so cool.
She did it. So yeah, her retiring is this is like go out on top, Is she retiring though? Did she say I'm retiring from coach?
She just said she's stepping down.
Yeah,
she could end up coaching.
Which makes it makes it sound negative, like stepping down. Immediately, I was like, why?
Yeah.
What happened? What's wrong?
To give you a little bit of context to Jill, she's 52 years old, and her first dance with the U.S. Women's World Cup national team, I guess, was back in 2016, back in the Rio Games, basically, and she coached that team, that squad of girls. And that wasn't her first time. That was kind of like where she got her name, is more so what I meant. It's not her first time with the national team. But that's where she got her name. And Megan Rapinoe owes her everything. She gave Megan an opportunity with the Rio team, and she brought her on with an only 18-man roster, which is really small for soccer. 18-man roster is very small. And she took them out there. She did a lot of controversial things with that team. They ended up losing in the semifinals, I believe, or quarter semi, which was a really bad thing because they just won the World Cup in 2015. But she did a lot of things to try and change up the team, try and see different ways of playing. One big thing that she did that stood out that really upset a lot of people. In soccer, you play by formations, like in hockey or basketball has a lot of formations. But in soccer, because there's 10 players on the field, 11 is the goalie, typically you have 3 lines of defense. So you have your defense, your midfielders, and your forwards. And a lot of times, a lot of teams will play a 4-man defensive line. So there will be 2 wingers, 2 people on the outside lines, and then 2 people in the middle, because that's that's just a lot of field. But she, back in 2016, tried probably the most unthinkable thing ever and only did 3 people in the back. This gave her a lot of issues. A lot of people gave her a lot of gripe for it, and they ended up not getting very far in the Olympics because of this. But then we fast forward, she wins the 2nd World Cup. So, pretty awesome woman. I mean, at the end of the day, she accomplished huge feat. Tyler, did you know? You probably did know because you sent me the article. But did you know that she ranked 2nd in the women's national team and wins.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Her record is 102 to 7 to 18. So I believe it's wins, losses, ties. So that would be 102 wins, 7 losses, and 18 ties.
That's so crazy.
Isn't that awesome?
Crazy. That's awesome. 7 losses, triple-digit wins, and single-digit losses.
Hear that?
That's awesome.
So unheard of. What kind of number is that?
In soccer,
Yeah,
you play a game like every 3 months.
like
It's insane. I mean, you play games more frequently than that,
right.
but still, you know. But she is going to stay on for this 5 friendlies that the U.S. are playing.
Yeah,
Did you read that?
I think she is only so they can find a replacement. I think that's what it is. Because as of right now, from what I read, they don't have any replacements. They have no one in mind for who they want to replace her. So, and then they also don't have a GM, which I didn't even know that the national team had a GM. But they don't have a GM, so they're trying to find a GM and a head coach. So you can only imagine how crazy.
Yeah, you got to go GM first usually.
Yeah, you got to find your GM first. Exactly. She has coached 127 games. That's more than any manager in the program history. So she's coached more games than anyone else in the history of the league. Pretty impressive stuff, man.
Yeah, that's insane, man.
Yeah.
Over 100 wins and 7 losses. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, that's really cool.
Maybe she just wanted to finish on top. Maybe that's it, you know?
She was quoted to say, I want to make sure. Yeah, okay. There was, and I quote, this is what she said back in December 2018, there was a multitude of things that kind of came into play. First and foremost, being with my family. And then she also felt like it was right to allow a new coach into the world event, which is the next one, which would be 2020 Olympics, and to build off the next World Cup. That's kind of been the plan for the long term this whole time, is what she said. So essentially, she kind of just wants a break. She wants to go be with her family, focus on family stuff. And then she also makes the comment that, you know, because the women's team is so strong right now and they're on top, that it's probably best for a new coach to come in and just continue that success. And
I was thinking that same thing. Yeah, because, like, think about it. The next coach is full cabinet, full artillery. Like, who are they losing? Like, who are they losing? They'll probably lose, like, what, Carly Lloyd? You think she'll play another one?
I don't know. It's tough to say. I want to say Alex Morgan might.
Rapinoe probably won't.
It's hard to say, man. It's really hard to say. Like, I want to say these names, but it's like.
Well, if it's a new coach, I expect to see some of these girls probably say, "Hey, like after these next 5 games, I'll probably also, begin my, after Olympic team." I don't know. Maybe they won't, because like usually, the way I've noticed is usually soccer players don't make that choice.
They don't.
Usually coaches, like the teams just don't select them. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
So maybe it's not up to them. Maybe they do want to play forever, and they probably can. But
it's interesting. Well, I think they want to at least.
But then you're losing young talent, right?
That's your other issue. But do you have that young talent? That's the other thing you got to look at. Are there girls ready to step up? Are they, at that level where they can compete at, the Olympics, which is the next phase for the women's team?
I mean, I'm so sorry I don't know her name, but the 19-year-old made a goal in the World Cup finals. So.
McKenzie or.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. It starts with M.
McKinley, something like that.
So good, I don't know her name.
Yeah, she's really good. But with that being said, also, you got to keep in mind that the women, that core group of women, may want to rebound from their previous Olympics. Because like I said, they lost really early in that tournament. So, there's a really strong chance they want to come out, defend the World Cup, and also win some gold medals.
Yeah, good points.
So
good points.
We'll see what happens. All right, we got about 20 minutes left. I want to give us plenty of time for this next segment because I kind of just thought of it on the whim. I think this is going to be fun. And honestly, I think I want to build this into the NFL season. So this won't be the only thing that we kind of do, Tyler. I think, I want to do quarterbacks. I want to do running backs, running back duos, stuff like that, because we have, about a month and a half until the NFL season. So I just want to have fun with this segment and see where it goes. Basically what I told Tyler, and you at home, if you're watching, if you're intrigued, we're going to go into a segment where I want you to give me your 3 favorite, or you think are the 3 best duo wide receivers. Now, when I say that, that means that you're only talking about the 2. You're not talking about the whole core. You're not talking about, their 3rd, 4th, and 5th receiver. You're not even talking about the quarterback. You really can't take into account their quarterback. What I really want is just who you think the best duo wide receiver team is. 1 and 2. Who are they? Who is the best 1-2 punch in the league? And so, Tyler, starting from 3rd to 1st is how we're going to do this. So we're going to do our 3rd favorite, and then we're going to work our way up to number 1. And I guess I'll go first. I'll start this off. Okay. So my number 1.
So this is your 3rd favorite.
Sorry, 3rd. My number 3. My number 3. You ready? And when I say this one, it's more so. It's 3 only because of the second guy. If the second guy wasn't there, I don't think I would. I think this would have just been number 1. No, honestly, it could have been any other number 2 guy. That's a pretty decent number 2. I don't think this number 2 guy is as good as I want him to be. But because the number 1 is so freaking good, he's got to be on this list. I'm going with Houston's DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller. Okay, the 1-2 punch of DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller. I think DeAndre Hopkins by himself is a complete stud. And then you add Will Fuller in there, who's kind of just like this guy who gets the leftovers, and he does it well. He does it well enough to keep Houston in a lot of games. And, I mean, I think it's a good quality duo. I'm not saying, again, I don't think they're the best. And honestly, the only reason they're on my 3 list is because of DeAndre Hopkins. I really wish he had a better second, but I still think because DeAndre is so good and he takes away so many DBs in that backfield, that Will Fuller is a solid number 2 only for that fact that, DeAndre takes so much attention. What do you think?
I like that. I like that a lot. Honestly, I think we're going to have very similar ones. Maybe a little bit of a mix-up, you know? But, I like that. I like DeAndre Hopkins. I actually like Will Fuller, man. He can stretch the field. He's fast. Without saying anything about his surrounding accompaniment, Will Fuller scores touchdowns as well.
Yeah.
So, I want to say he averages 8 touchdowns since he's been in the NFL a season. I'm not looking at his stats or anything, but somewhere around there. I could be completely wrong. I hate when I do this because sometimes I'm way off. But yeah, I really like them. So should I go into my number 3?
It's your turn.
All right, number 3 for Tyler T-Dub Williams. I'm gonna have to go with the Atlanta Falcons combination of Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. I think the 2 Alabama prospects are something else. Julio Jones was clear-cut number 1 guy coming out of Alabama, and he was just an absolute stud and has not disappointed. Lived up to all the hype. Lived up to every single expectation. You remember his drop pass because it's the one drop pass he had. You don't forget one drop pass because it was a touchdown. And I'll always remember his drop pass because I was so shocked to see him drop a touchdown. Calvin Ridley's a real speedster. He was really not utilized well in college because he had Jalen Hurts as a quarterback. So he was kind of everybody knew he was very good and very talented, but nobody knew him for what he was. And then when he got in the league and got a decent quarterback and showed his stuff, as a rookie, he was as advertised, plus more. So Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley are my number 3.
All right. I want you to do number 2 this time. So you skip and you do your number 2 next.
Okay, we'll keep my number 2 pretty brief because it was your number 3, DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the only reason I give them the edge over... the only 2 reasons I give them the edge over Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley is because, for the sake of the show, because they were my number 3 and Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley were my number 2. They're my number 3, so we could talk like this. No, I really gave him the edge because DeAndre Hopkins has a spectacular catch radius. He doesn't drop a thing. I think he's got the best hands in the NFL. Will Fuller, like I talked about earlier, can stretch the field, score touchdowns, and he has a couple years of experience on Calvin Ridley. Yeah, and it's hard not to talk about their surroundings. So that's my number 2. Go for your number 2.
Okay. This one, oh man, I want to be different, and I'm just going to say it because I think there is going to be a better duo than these two. I legitimately think there will be a better duo than these two.
And if you don't think
I do think that.
You don't think that. You don't have to be. You don't have to be bound.
So my number 2 is going to be OBJ and Jarvis Landry. That's my number 2.
Yeah.
OBJ, Jarvis Landry. I think, of course, they're going to be amazing. I think this is awesome. And honestly, I think this helps out both of them. Like, a lot of people are saying, this is going to help out OBJ and his career, blah, blah, blah. Dude, Jarvis Landry is going to go bonkers. Like, he's no longer the number 1. And I think that works for him because when he was in Miami, he was kind of always like that number 1. And then when he came to Cleveland by himself, he was like definitely number 1. But now that he's not number 1, he is going to be like number 1 part deux. Like he's going to be number 1B is how it's going to be. Like he's going to be so freaking good, and OBJ is going to be OBJ. But I think that's why I put him at number 2 because OBJ is OBJ. Like he self-inflicts himself. Like he is if he just shut up and just listen, if I was his PR manager, I would look at OBJ in the face and I would say, OBJ, I will give you $500,000 to not say anything in this game. And when I say don't say anything, I mean like verbally, emotionally, any type of emotion or temper tantrum that you feel an urge to do. I just want you to go out, play your game, literally just play your game, come back to the bench or come back to the coach, listen to what they have to say, listen to what your teammates have to say, then, we go back out, you do your game. Like, that's all he has to do. If he can do that, he would be probably the best wide receiver in the league, and now 100% be the best player in the league. But I see so much drama between these two. Like, Jarvis Landry has his moments where he can be, a little bit of a crybaby. And so you add OBJ's, like, just hostile mentality of just, like, me, I. You throw that in with Jarvis Landry's, like, little emotional outbursts that he has sometimes, and this could either go really, really good or so bad. And, like, if they get into a catching war, like, if, like, OBJ's like, yo, why isn't Baker throwing to me? Or, like, if he goes to Jarvis and he's like, yo, Jarvis, why can't you get this DB off my back? Like, if he starts blaming other people for his issues, it's game over. Like, this duo is going to be the worst duo in the league. Like, it's going to be so bad. So that's why I put him at number 2, only because OBJ is OBJ.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. I like that. I like that a lot.
Do you like that a lot? Because I feel like you don't like that a lot.
No, that's good. I liked everything you said. I thought it was perfect. I thought everything you said was perfect. I thought it was a good reason to have them number 2. But but they're my number one team. Yeah. They're my number one duo, Jay and Jarvis Landry. But not to say that I don't completely agree with you, because I do. It could be dynamite or it could be dynamite. Like, it could be wonderful or it could be terrible. Like, it's bad. But at the same time, they're best friends. But also, as you were talking, I was like, best friends. What if you and I had incredible abilities, almost the same abilities, but played for the same team?
Yeah.
How would we feel about each other?
I mean, I would be ecstatic. I would be really excited.
At first, right? Yeah. How would you feel about me coming back to the huddle bitching at everybody, or like asking for the ball, or better this, best friends in a band, two best friends in a band, guitarists, you and I, both of us guitarists. Sometimes I come onto the stage and I just like step in front of you and start shredding and stuff like that. How do you feel? How are we now? Are we best friends? Because now we're gonna really. I
mean, we're still best friends, but I'm gonna push out.
Best friends really fight. You know what I mean? They really fight. They don't just get in a little argument and ignore each other. They really fight. Like, and that's what it could be. And you're right, man. Like, and they're gonna get in the catching battle because they at one point in this career they both were 1 and 2 for like 2 or 3 straight years in receptions. And now they're on the same team, and there's only one ball.
Exactly.
So, there's only one ball. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And for nothing else, they're number one on my list for entertainment purposes only. I wish the Hard Knocks could go back to Cleveland, but I think there's a rule that Hard Knocks can't go back to the same place 2 times in a row. Did you know there was NFL rules on Hard Knocks? There's like you have to be in like the bottom 5 teams in the league from the year before. You have to you can't host it twice. There's like 3 other like major stipulations. So anyways, that's my team. Who's your number 1?
See, I knew you were gonna go with them for number 1, and I just. The emotional battle that you're talking about, I just see it going so south. Because OBJ, okay, in every single year that OBJ has played, has he not had drama? Like, every year.
Oh, he's always had drama.
Like, every single year.
But he had Eli Manning throwing him the ball. Like, Eli's good, but not great. He's like Blake Bortles good. Eli is. He really is, though. Him and Blake Bortles are pretty comparable.
Yeah.
Minus the mobility.
They are going to be so fun to watch, though. Like, at the end of the day, like, I know it's going to, like, just blow up and dynamite, like you said, in everyone's face. But because it's going to dynamite, it's going to be so fun to watch. Like, it's going to be so fun to watch these guys just tear up. Like, this is a defensive coordinator's nightmare. It really is. Because they still have Nick Chubb. We're going way off topic. Anyways.
You're not supposed to talk about
we're going way off topic. All right. So my number 1, and I honestly, this was hard. This was so hard. Okay, I will say this. This is an honorable mention, and I'm only saying this because, man, okay, I don't want to get into it.
Wait, is this your number 1 or is this
an honorable mention? Okay, this is an honorable mention. I was going to say Travis Kelce and
Tyreek Hill.
That was.
I was gonna say Tyreek Hill and anybody.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it was gonna be anybody, but yeah. I was gonna go with Travis Kelce because he's literally part of that receiving core. Like, he is one of the most important aspects of that team. So, all right.
Also, before you get to your number 1, how do you feel about before AJ Green got hurt? AJ Green and Tyler Boyd. Or AJ Green and John Ross.
Yeah.
I mean, I would take Tyler Boyd over John Ross, but John Ross also has his moments of big time play.
I mean, John Ross literally is a lightning rod. Like, he just runs endlessly fast.
Yeah, people are disappointed with him though, but still.
He just needs some hands. That's it. He reminds me of the guy from The Replacements. That's me.
Oh yeah. I forgot his name.
Clifford Franklin.
Clifford Cleveland. Yeah. Nice.
Remember his face when he was like gonna go for the Twinkie? He's like,
oh,
and he's like getting all like in the zone, and his hands started doing these weird things. And you're like, what are you doing?
I did.
Oh, good movie. If you haven't seen it, The Replacements.
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah.
my number one. My number one.
Wait, what about Alshon Jeffrey and who's
Deshaun
another receiver
Jackson.
there? Huh? Deshaun Jackson, yeah.
They were definitely on my top 5 list. If we had a top 5 list, they would have been on it. 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
100%. They would have been on it, no problem. I just don't think Deshaun is what he used to be, and Alshon just can't stay healthy. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number one, this was a tough one, like I said. This was a tough one. Those top 3 were really just, literally just nitpicking. But I feel like these 2 receivers are really, 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 really good individually. And then you put them on a team together, and now all of a sudden you have these 2 guys that are basically the same player. Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. I think.
Oh God! I didn't even think about
your
that.
number 1 wide receiving core. This is the duo. They're literally the same player. They are so freaking good. It just blows my mind how good these guys are.
Diggs has hands too,
Diggs has
man.
hands. He has speed. He runs routes like no one's business. And same with Adam. Adam is the exact same. Adam can catch everything. He runs amazing routes. I don't think he's as fast as Stephon, but he finds little windows. I mean,
dude, I was watching highlights of Thielen today. He was breaking cornerbacks in his route running, like they were on the ground, dude. And he would look back at him after he caught the ball. So that was crazy.
This is really cool, and this is an important stat to know. Both Adam and Stephon both topped 1,000 yards receiving last season. Both.
Yeah, I think so did Calvin and Julio as well.
I mean, those are big shoes to fill. So, anyways, that was my number one. Next week, Tyler, what do you want to do? There's so many that you could do. You could do best running back duo. I think I want to save best quarterback for later in the season, or closer to when we get to the season. I mean, you can do best cornerback duo. I don't know. I picked this one, so it's your turn to pick.
All right, I'll go with it. I'll figure it out. Oh, you want to preview it right now? Because I can pick one. Let's go with top. This one might take a little bit of research. Not much, though. Top defensive end duo.
Ooh.
Let's go 3. Let's go 3, same as wide receivers. It's going to take a little bit of research, but there's I think there's 6 pretty good duos.
Yeah, there's a lot. Cleveland might make that list again.
Yeah, might. They might.
Okay, so going to typically we do a feel-good story. Typically do a feel-good story, but there just hasn't been a lot going on, as in good feel-good stories. So I thought this was kind of more of a funny story. I thought this was fun for the fantasy football nerds. I don't know if you knew this, but it actually made headlines, which was really impressive. This actually made headlines. Le'Veon Bell, if you didn't know, he held out last season, did not play at all. He ended up just sitting out the whole season, not getting paid. And at the start of the season, everyone knew he was going to hold out, but they didn't realize that he wasn't going to play the whole entire season. If my memory serves me right, everyone thought he'd be back by week 8, right?
Week 10. They were saying they thought there was something in the CBA, or there was something in the CBA that said he had to be back by week 10 in order to be eligible for free agency in March.
Right. Okay.
Because he had to play 8 games, basically.
Okay. And so.
But somehow he got out of that.
Yeah. Don't know how he did that.
I forgot. I wrote an article on it. Oh, no, I didn't. I wrote an article on it and then was pissed that he got out of it because it pretty much negated my article. I was like, oh, he's got to be back by week 10, so no matter what, he'll be back. And he wasn't. Go on.
So, to catch you up to speed on last season, Le'Veon Bell, going into the season, people just assumed he would play. Like what Tyler was saying, there was a point where you had to play or you couldn't move on. I think it was he had to sit out a whole season, after the fact, before he could be eligible to get picked up in free agency. Well, I think that was the punishment or whatever the NFL does.
Yeah.
So, sitting out the whole season is just ridiculous. Like, why would you do that? You're basically killing yourself, for what? Personal reasons, like because you don't like your quarterback, whatever. So, I don't know. It just seemed like it was unrealistic for him to sit out the whole season. So, with that being said, a lot of people, like myself, drafted Le'Veon Bell in hopes that he would come back, we just thought, he's just going to sit out, probably half season. We'll have him ready for playoffs. If you don't know fantasy football, a lot of the playoffs are played in like 14, 15, 16, the weeks before the last week of the NFL season, because a lot of teams don't play that last week or whatever. So, with that being said, people just assumed he was going to play. So a lot of people wasted, like myself, draft picks on this guy early. I want to say I drafted him probably in the 4th round. No, he was my first overall pick, I think. I don't remember. I honestly can't remember. He was like my first or second. He was really high up there.
That's embarrassing.
And, we knew he was going to be held out. Like, we knew that. But, like, how long? What was that timetable? Because if they do work out a deal, he's back, and now you have a stud. Immediate stud. That's the type of player Le'Veon Bell is. He's just an immediate impact player for any fantasy team.
Immediately.
He doesn't need practice. He just needs the ball. Literally just give him the ball. That's all you got to do. Just, here you go. And you're automatically going to have a 20-point game every single game with him. So, with that being said, he ended up sitting out. And if you weren't lucky, but I was lucky to get the backup, I forgot his name.
James Conner.
Thank you. James Conner. I was able to pick him up before he was picked up. James Conner had a blowout season. He just had a stellar season. He kind of fell off here and there, but for the most part, he was a very viable starting running back, and he was awesome. Right. So he did great. So that doesn't necessarily hurt you, but if you didn't pick up James Conner, well, now you're kind of screwed because you don't have any options at running back. So, long story short, Le'Veon Bell came back to the NFL season this year. He was picked up by the Jets. Incredible contract. He's set for life. Obviously, he's never.
I don't think it was worth the holdout though. I think he wanted more than that.
I think he did too.
But still a great contract.
Great contract.
And the Jets already regret it.
Of course, yeah. The Jets are the stupidest organization. I would have said Cleveland was, but they've been doing some good moves, and they're kind of learning from their mistakes. The Jets, all I got to say is they have Sam Darnold as their quarterback. That's all I got to say. So, anyways, and they drafted him, folks. They drafted him. So, anyways, getting back to Le'Veon Bell, he basically comes out and he says, and I quote, "This is long overdue, but I want to take a moment to apologize to all the fantasy owners who picked me last year. I'm sorry I couldn't pull through for you, but trust me, this year's about to be way different. I'm bringing the trophy this year," he tweeted. So this was a tweet that he tweeted to any fantasy, player, manager, whatever you want to call us. And he was just, apologizing to us. So, Le'Veon, if you're watching this, if you end up watching this, whatever, I accept your apology.
Oh, wow.
I accept it.
Wow.
I really do. It means a lot to me.
This really is a feel-good story. This really is a feel-good story.
This is a good feel-good story because, realistically, he's not the reason I lost. So I can't put all the blame on him because I ended up getting James Conner, and James Conner was a pretty solid replacement for him. So he wasn't really the reason I lost. But, thank you for apologizing. That means a lot.
Yeah.
So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching.
Good for you.
What?
I said good for you for forgiveness.
Yeah, it's in my heart sometimes. But thank you guys so much for watching. That's T-Dubs over there. T-Dubs, where can we find your articles?
Well, you can find my articles. We talked about them a little bit tonight on theturfsports.com. Check us out there, all of us. We have great opinions, great facts. We have everything you need. We cover it. You want to talk about theater? We cover theater too. You want to talk about sports? You want to talk about baseball? We got that. You want to talk about football? We have a fleet of stuff we're talking about for the training camp season. So football's back. We're excited. Visit me at turfsports.com. If not there, you can definitely find me here at every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. On Amplified with AMP.
That's me.
60-minute suspension, baby.
Sweet. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you stay tuned. Amplified Network has more content coming to you real soon. So don't go too far. Make sure you like and subscribe to all of our stuff, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Again, thank you guys so much. We will talk to you guys later. Bye.